Morning and welcome to WereDaD versus the Budget Monster. I've done this about 20 times. Let's see if I can cut this time down from 30 minutes to 10 minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna kick this right off. Guys, we've been doing a lot of downsizing. I've de- we've decided to reduce our monthly bills. I actually don't want to call it downsizing, I want to call it right sizing. We've been spending an exorbitant amount of money uh, doing our monthly expenses, our policies, our savings, maintenance, and we want to bring that down. We're trying out the new company and we want to make sure that we have everything that we need, as well as be able to live comfortably. We don't want to get rid of everything. We just want to make sure that we're the right size for what we need. Couple of key considerations. I didn't want to remove everything, but I wanted to make sure that we're running moderately debt free. Monthly expenses for that, because we have an MSA and a full comprehensive, was quite expensive. We've spoken to our medical aid company and we've managed to negotiate quite a bit down. So no, we don't have the full MSA and all the coverage that we used to, but we've got enough coverage to cover all our expenses as we currently have. Getting that down to a third of what it was for the entire family was quite a savings. You can see already that we've dropped that figure down tremendously with just one figure. A lot of the other things, what we did was we took a lot of the debt and bills that we've been paying off over the last few months, and we consolidated it so that we could just pay off a lot of these debts in one go. So as of next month, we'll be living moderately debt free. The doctor's bills, the surgeon bills have been reduced substantially, so bringing down our monthly costs. The chiropractor is one of those costs we have to keep in there because that is something that we have to do on a quarterly basis still, whereas those were prerequisites. Then in terms of our medical aid, we've got our life policies. So then in terms of our life policies, we've got our life policies and vitalities, which we can't really move. Our savings policies as well, those we have to carry on paying. But these two, when it comes to emergency and vet savings, it didn't make sense to actually keep doing the vet savings and the emergency fund. We've got savings as it is, and we're going to be feeding into some of those savings already. So we're going to actually stop doing that. And we'll start recovering that over the next few months. So my guess is within the next 6 months, we're going to have to do another budget review. And we might even have to do it earlier than that. Then we go on to some of the other expenses. Petrol was quite a substantial expense. Being in lockdown reduced that quite substantially. So we were looking at about the 500 Rand mark per month, which is a dramatic decrease. But looking at having the company still running and using it for the business a bit, we're increasing that a bit to 1,000. The car maintenance as well, we have a savings that's specifically for the car. We actually managed to save that amount, so that will cover a majority of the major expenses related to the car for the next few months. So we're not going to put additional into there. When it came to insurance, what's actually happened is that amount has actually spiked quite a bit. Just before end of last month, we actually had a look and it went up to 2,500. We've managed to give them a call and update our details, update our vehicle history, update our personal information, and get that down substantially. So we're looking quite good there. We've actually made quite a bit of a reduction. Then car tracker we can't do much about. The Uber cost was a nice cost saving that we did to avoid us having a second vehicle. We use Uber and we've minimized that at the moment because we're working from home and working together. We can actually use the car for all those purposes. Then in terms of some of these were a lot of debt that had been incurred. We've actually reduced these, so we'd be removing the City of Johannesburg account. The refuse removal is a monthly cost, the levies are a monthly cost, the life insurance is a monthly cost. The tax consultant, we're actually going to be dealing with that ourselves, so having more time to myself to actually be able to do some of that work, I'd be able to save quite a bit on that. The property in Cape Town, that's where we live, so there's nothing much we can do with that. What we can do is start removing these garden and domestic wages so that we actually take control of those things. I don't think it's that much of a drain smash. It wasn't a big figure, but at the same time, we need to actually reduce those amounts. When it came to some of our subscription services, we saw a big change. So all of these services, if you have a look at it, you work out to quite a bit just by themselves. We're looking at about 700 Rand. It didn't make sense. We're not the biggest fans of DSTV, so we ended up doing a lot of online subscriptions, but at the same time, we wanted different shows from different channels, and we liked Amazon for some of their shows, we liked Showmax for some of theirs, and Netflix for some of those. So it at the moment it doesn't make sense. We don't have the amount of time to actually watch some of these we haven't watched in over a month, so we're actually going to remove a lot of these. We're going to keep one of the subscription services. For me, Netflix is the one that I will keep. It is more pricey, and the thing is, my daughter enjoys it, we enjoy it, we watch more of those than anything else. And similarly with the Xbox and the PlayStation, we're going to stop those. I've kept the YouTube because we use that for our music streaming as well, which is quite useful. And it's a family account, so that price for the entire family is not that bad. Then, of course, we've got some of the business expenses, the internet and the Google business. We need that to actually keep operational. There's nothing we can do about it. What we saw when we looked at the household, there were a lot of expenses that we could actually start minimizing. One of the key things is I want to spend more time with my child, so I'm getting rid of the aftercare so that we can actually do things together in the afternoons. The same with the shuttle service. There's no reason why we need a shuttle service when I can do this. Also, I'll be cycling to school in summer to actually pick her up, and I think that will be quite an enjoyable experience. Similar with the swimming, most of these during COVID, during lockdown, they're actually not enabled, and a lot of these services we paid for and we're not able to use, so we're actually going to get rid of a lot of those. When it came to the grooming, I think we can do a lot of cost cutting there, and I actually want to half those amounts so that we're more efficient on that side. Similarly with the cell phone allowance, most of our cell phones are actually almost up. There's no reason to actually get a new cell phone at the moment, so we're just going to reduce that bill. I think that's a good idea. We don't want to tie ourselves into new contracts, so we're just going to keep it running on a month-to-month basis, which I think is more effective at the moment. Then our grocery bill, a lot of the new businesses that we're doing, we're actually going to be reducing that grocery bill because we're building a lot of new functions based on groceries, bills, savings, and food. So we've managed to drop that down ridiculous amount, and I think that includes some of our business groceries that are going into there, but yeah, we'll talk about that another time. Then in terms of some of the loans that we have had to make, so to handle some of our maintenance, we've made some loans there. We're paying off those loans so that we don't have to make any more payments to it. With regards to gifts, being in lockdown means that we're not really having a lot of parties, so we're getting rid of that. The entertainment, we're putting at zero at the moment. I don't think there's a need for entertainment in the moment. We need to find alternatives, and that's one of the ways we'll save. Similarly with the gym, There's alternatives to the gymming. We've actually just become Zumba instructors, so the two of us are going to be starting to approach people to actually do those classes, and that should reduce our gym fees so that we don't have to pay. And we'd still get the gym benefit, and we're still training. We still want to stay healthy. The entertainment in restaurants, similar to that, we were spending quite a bit on that. I think that 3,000 was a very conservative number when we first put it. I think we were spending a lot more than that. And we're bringing that down substantially. So I think, twice a month, we should be able to gear that properly into that. Then we have the household maintenance. We've done a lot of saving on the households. I think me being at home, I'll be able to do a lot more of those household maintenances myself, and we're going to save a ton on that. And the only other item is kind of Rebecca's clothing, which, it's there for a reason. That having a young 5-year-old, she's constantly going through clothing, so we've got to purchase that on a fairly regular basis. I don't think it's actually monthly. I think if we bring that down, it's probably about 100 Rand a month. It's just, growing out of shoes, growing out of clothes happens often, buying new raincoats, and just damage on clothes. Okay, guys, that's as quick as I could get through this. So, guys, I want you to take a look at this. I want you to understand. Look at the right hand side. You can see a massive difference from what we were spending to what we're spending right now. It's over half of what we were spending. And that's just a quick 10-minute exercise to go through your budget and figure out where your big expenses are and how to narrow that down. And there's a lot of other ways we're going to start cutting this down, and I think we're going to talk about that in future episodes. Maybe the budget monster's child, or the budget monster's food budget, or the budget monster gets hungry. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for your time, and those who survived till the end, thank you very much. Like and subscribe.